Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My colleague Hershey Dondapati and I are excited you could join us for this session on ArcGIS Hub and how it's used for collaborating and engaging with your community. We are product managers on the ArcGIS Hub team, and we very much like working with customers and hearing from you. So we hope that you will have some good questions for us after this session. So today we want to touch on what ArcGIS Hub is and how it can apply to your work, as well as some of the common patterns of use we see and how the product supports those use cases, as well as some resources and next steps that you can take. So what is ArcGIS Hub? We think of it as a cloud-based engagement platform that helps you work more effectively with your community. And we define community very broadly. It could be governments, businesses you work with, universities, nonprofits, residents, volunteers, basically anyone outside of your organization that you need to engage with and collaborate with. So why is engagement so useful to our work? Typically, for any project or initiative, there are usually a small number of staff available to work on that project and to try to engage the broader public and inform them. However, a lot of value can be gleaned by working with other members of the community, maybe other nonprofits or levels of government or businesses who could also help amplify the effort of the staff in reaching other audiences and engaging them. Then there are also people that might be eager to engage, and they can also help to amplify the work. So many of our challenges require a lot of resources, and if we can engage and hopefully align those resources, we can go a lot further in accomplishing our goals. And that's the mission of ArcGIS Hub, is to help customers align and engage with everyone that they need to reach those initiative goals. So we've found there are sort of four main patterns of use for ArcGIS Hub. Probably the first one is that customers want to inform the public and others on important topics. They also want to share data and content, collect feedback and data from the community if possible, and also organize and deeply collaborate with those partners in the community. So these use patterns map to features and functionality of the product. So when it comes to conveying information on important topics, that generally maps to the site's capability in ArcGIS Hub. And when it comes to sharing data and content, there is a built-in search tool and catalog with every site, and that is also available in the product. The ability to provide the community with identities enables feedback from members of the community. And then ArcGIS Hub also provides something called an initiative framework that helps you to organize collaboration. So as we mentioned, ArcGIS Hub is a cloud-based platform. It's built on ArcGIS Online. There's a basic subscription to ArcGIS Hub, and that comes with ArcGIS Online. So if you have ArcGIS Online, you have the basic version of ArcGIS Hub. And that enables you to create websites and share data and content with your audiences. The premium level or subscription of ArcGIS Hub provides deeper engagement capabilities. It allows you to have identities for community members and provides an initiative framework for supporting those deeper collaboration workflows. So I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague Hershey, and she's going to talk a little bit more about how sites can support your work.
Thank you, Brenda. Hello, everyone. I'm Hershey Dantapati, and I'm the product manager on ArcGIS Hub team. I'm really excited to talk to you all about how you can use your hub site to convey information on topics that are really important to you. So, it is an undeniable fact that we are being bombarded with an overdose of information every day. In fact, studies have revealed that on an average, every single person receives about 11.4 hours of information daily. But this tremendous amount of data and content that is being reached to your community, it has become more important than ever for organizations to convey their information in an effective and streamlined fashion that allows them to be really transparent and also organize content around topics that are really important to them. And this can definitely be done and achieved using one of Hub's basic building blocks or foundations, that is a site. A site is nothing but a website that you can use to convey all of this information that you have. Every single site comes with a simple layout template, configuration options, and a set of drag and drop cards that will completely eliminate the need for any custom coding. So, why exactly use Hub and what can you do with the site? The most primary thing that you can do with the site is integrate all of your content. Be it the content that you've developed using your other ArcGIS products such as a story map or a dash map, or it could be any other third-party content or your own graphics, media, or narratives. You can integrate all of them and display it in a single hub site and creates a data portal for all of your GIS data, and also you can create and share your open data with the community. There are numerous configurable branding options that are available on Hub. So you can use your own logos, themes, social media, logins, and custom domains to kind of really make this whole site your own. Global navigation and site mapping with the usage of pages and menu links, it is possible for you to create a really amazing holistic web experience and custom design the navigation of your site. Hub can also additionally be explored on any device because it is mobile responsive. And we do have some amazing built in analytics. So you can use your engagement dashboard to track how many people are engaging with your content over time. So definitely site creation is an amazingly easy process with Hub. So it is customizable and you do not need any custom coding, no HTML, no Java. And you can just simply use your multiple layout options that are available to drag and drop and start putting your content and organizing your content around topics and really kind of create this amazing portal through which you can share all of your data and content to your groups. And also you have sharing controls on Hub. So you can either make it completely public or you can safeguard it and you can control the sharing right on your Hub site. So definitely let's take a look. I'd like to kind of start with a very simple demo of how exactly you can start creating your hub site and how you can start playing around with the multiple sharing options, control options, and layout options. So because today I'm using a premium account, you can basically see that I have a couple additional options than what you'd be seeing if you're on a basic version, but the site creation and everything that I'll be showing today says pretty much the same on both the versions. So I'm going to very quickly go in and start creating a new site, and I'm going to give it the name a test demo site for UC 2020 version 1. So and create it. So what's basically happening here is once I'm starting to create a site, Hub starts giving me a basic layout or a template, and there are a lot of options, a lot of layout options that have already been integrated or they're a part of this, layout. One, I can either build on top of this, I can start working with this, or I can completely scratch it out, keep bits and pieces that I want, and then build my own site. So basically, it's all up to you how you want to design your site and how you want to create the navigation of your site. So as you can see in this simple layout, there are some really amazing layout options that have been displayed, such as a statistics card with which you can display some stats, and you can also make it as dynamic as possible. Some timeline options, say you have a project and you want to display the timeline of your project. This is a beautiful way for you to kind of display it, which is really visually appealing. You can also put in images. There is a very amazingly rich text editor that's available, and you can definitely use that. And you can use buttons to link a content that's third party. You have an external website and you want to link it, that's possible too. So there's obviously numerous options, and of course maps and gallery cards. So you can go in and explore this layout, and you can start analyzing what's the best option for you to customize that site and make it your own. Very quickly, let me give you a couple of branding options that are available. So in the left side navigation bar, you can find all of the customization options. Once you go into the header and the branding portion of it, you can start controlling the name of your site and you can put in the logo that you want. You can just upload your logo, and you can also start adding links to your site. So a link basically is you can start linking any external content. Say there is a beautiful web app that has been created by someone else in my organization, and I really want it to be a part of my site. I can just add a link to it, and it will start displaying on right on my menu. So that's a really easy way for you to kind of start linking pages, linking external content. And you can also go in and add the URLs for your Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram account. So any of your members, any of your stakeholders who are visiting your hub page will be very easily able to access all of your social media accounts as well. Apart from that, you can also choose some custom theme options. Say your organization has specific colors that they use. That's definitely possible. You can go in and select those colors. And once you do that, your entire hub site will reflect those custom theme options that you have created. So it's just like a one-time thing. You can go in, set it, and every single thing that you can develop the content, you can add it, and everything will be reflecting the theme that you've selected. One other additional thing which I really like, and that's a new addition on Hub, is the language translation tool. So once you go into settings and the beta version, you can see that there is a button to turn on site translation. So with this option, what happens is any of the members or any community member or any of your stakeholders who are visiting your site, and they would really want to view the content in the language that's more preferable to them, all they would have to do is go in and click on the translate button, choose one of those options, and all of the content on your site will be converted or translated to that particular language. And so that's really one of the amazing things about Hub. So anyone can, with their own language preferences, can now explore every single content on your Hub site. Isn't that amazing? And most important of all, you can also control the sharing. Like I said, you can add in, you can make it completely public, you can make it visible only to your organization, or you can select some specific sharing options and share it only to groups or teams that you want to come and visit your site and be able to view your content. So these are some of the really cool ways that you can, create your custom branding and organize your content. And one other amazing thing about Hub is you can use pages. You can create a new page, and once you start, what happens with a page is if you create a page, you will be given a basic layout options into which you can go in, pull your content. So this is the layout like I mentioned. So you can go in, pull in your content, you can put in some dashboards, you can put in some text cards, you can put in images, and kind of the idea here is you have a specific topic, create a page for it, pull in all of your content so that it's easy for your community members to come in and access all of this data. So let me quickly show you one of the Hub sites that I have personally been working on, just to give you an idea of how exactly I have leveraged all of these options available on Hub. So I have definitely used Pages, like I've mentioned, and linked it to my main menu. And I have used a search bar where people in my community can go in and kind of search specific open data that I've made available to them. Apart from that, let me go to my initiative site. Apart from that, I've also used numerous layout options, such as a statistics card and a timeline, like I mentioned, some events page and a gallery card. So really, it's all up to you how you want to customize your site. So if you go into layout options, you can see there are numerous drag and drop options. All you have to do is just pick a row, place it in any of your desired place, go back in and pull in, say I really want to add a banner. So just go in and put your banner card here and just type in hello. So it's as simple as that. It's just a drag and drop option. So you can go and really customize your site and use it in any fashion that you'd like to display all of your content. You can always set your row settings to whatever you would like, change the color and change the font. So really, it's all up to you how you custom design your site. So I hope this was really helpful for you to kind of at least get an idea of how you can use Hub to organize your content. And now I hand it over back to Brenda to continue with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Hershey. Another nice feature of ArcGIS Hub sites is that they come with a search tool automatically built in. This allows you to surface authoritative data and content on your site, and it enables your community to search for and discover it so that they can either download it or use it in their applications. Here's an example of an open data site from the state of Maryland. Notice that they have a search tool, but they've also provided some categorization of their data that makes it easy to find what you're looking for. So if I were to drill down into one of those categories, I would get to a data set view and I'd be able to explore what attributes are in the data, explore related data, and filter and download that data if I wished, or access it via API. So how do you control the content that appears in your site search or in the category cards or in galleries? Every hub site comes with what's called a content library, and this content library feeds your search catalog. Behind the content library is a content group in ArcGIS Online, and you can either populate your content library with content from your ArcGIS Online organization, or you can create new content within ArcGIS Hub. If you have other groups in ArcGIS Online whose content you wish to add to your site, you can use the group manager in ArcGIS Hub to specify which groups you would like to have appear or whose content you would like to have appear in search. So you might have private groups, or public open data groups, and any of that content can appear in your search. Of course, the search tool will honor the privileges and visibility of that content depending on who's looking at it. So an open data group, just a note about that, an open data group is really just a special designation that you put on a group in ArcGIS Online that connotes to the world that that is authoritative data that would be useful for federating on open data sites. And this is handy if you want your data to be discoverable by others, but it's also handy to you in that you can search for other organizations' open data groups and surface them on your site. So maybe you're collaborating with other partner organizations and you can combine all that content together in one site. So let's take a look at how we can add content into our hub site. Here we have an ArcGIS hub site. As you can see, I have something called the content library and the groups manager. If I click the content library, because this is a new site, you'll see I do not have any content in it. I can either add existing content from my ArcGIS Online organization, or I can create new content. And what's new recently is the ability to add a new application directly in Hub. By clicking this, I can go directly into these application editors, and when I complete my application and publish it, it will show up in my content library. What's also new is that I can add content directly in the content library without going to ArcGIS Online. So for example, I could upload content via URL, and coming later this year, you'll be able to add content from your desktop directly into the content library. So that's how I can get content into my content library. If we go to the Groups Manager, recall that I said every site has a content group. And here is the content group behind my content library. And I mentioned we can add other groups to the site. So I can browse for groups in my organization, and I can even filter them down to just the open data groups. Or if I uncheck my organization filter, I will find open data groups that other organizations have made public. So for example, if I were interested in transportation, you can see I have open data groups, and I could, for example, select this group from the Alabama Department of Transportation and add it to my group manager. Now, if I go back to my content library, you will see that that content appears in my content library. If I go to my site and view it like a user would and click the search tool, You'll see that now I have content appearing in the search, and it's from that Alabama DOT group that we federated onto our site. So far, we have looked at how to create sites and how to get content onto those sites. And those are really one-way forms of engagement. Now we're going to shift gears and talk about how you can enable two-way forms of engagement. And we'll start by giving community members identity on our platform. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Hershey, and she's going to talk about how community members can have identity.
Well, thank you, Brenda. Definitely, one of the key aspects of community engagement is to collect data and feedback from them. The ArcGIS Hub community is a premium feature that allows you to interact or basically collaborate with multiple stakeholders by providing them with community identities, and you can also share or give them access to some certain specific content. All of the community accounts and content are maintained or managed in the Hub's community org, which is a separate subscription to ArcGIS Online that basically links back to your Hub's primary subscription. And managing this community organization is really a very simple task. The one thing that you can do is open it up to all of your community, and anyone who wants to interact with your particular initiative will be able to go in, click on the Follow tab button, and create a community identity for themselves. Or if you want a more safeguarded, if you want a more controlled approach, you can always turn off the Follow tab button and personally invite members to be a part of your community org. And of course, you can also have the same experience and you can do the same controls on ArcGIS Online, but because all of this is possible right on Hub, you can manage and customize the entire sign-up experience for your community organization or for your community identities right on your Hub platform, and you don't have to switch between ArcGIS Online and Hub for this experience. And the one really simple but a very effective way in which you can collect feedback from your community is with the usage of Survey123 forms. And Survey123 editor is now completely integrated on your Hub site, which means you can create, edit, and share surveys to specific teams and specific groups without having to switch between platforms. So let's take a really quick look at how to do all of these tasks. So this is an initiative in which the follow button, this is the follow button, this is a star button, is switched on, which basically means that any person in my community who comes across my initiative will be able to just click this and start creating an account for themselves. And if I don't want this experience, and if I really just want a closed initiative, I can just go into interactions and turn off this follow tab button and save it. And now you can see that the follow tab just disappears. So even though the person can still view my content that I've made public, they would not be able to follow my initiative. And in this case, I can very simply go into the community part of my initiative and personally start inviting people or stakeholders that I want to interact with. So I can just invite this particular person that I want to interact with and make them a part of my followers group. It's just as simple as that. And let me just quickly jump over to my overview page from which I can access my Hub settings. And here, by logging into my community org credentials, so every community log has an admin, and with the community or admin credentials you can log in and customize the sign-in experience for your community identities. Now I can enable social media logins. I can also allow auto join of members via email and custom some terms and conditions for them. And I can also allow people with ArcGIS Online credentials given to them by a separate another organization or by a third party to be able to come in and create or just log in into my initiative without having to go through the whole process of creating a separate community identity for themselves. So as you can see, all of this process is really simple, and you can control the whole experience right on your Hub platform. So you don't even have to jump between ArcGIS Online and Hub to create all of this experience. And let me quickly show you how you can create a feedback right on your Hub site. So a very simple thing, just go into the feedback portal and you can use any one of the surveys that you already have, or start creating a new feedback from scratch, or you can also browse the templates that are available either by your organization or that's out there in the public, and just start working on one of those templates and customize it. But here I'm just going to go ahead and create a new survey from scratch. Very simple one, just creating next, that's it. Create a thumbnail, give in a description and a name for your survey, add in tags to it, and click create, and the survey is automatically created for you. And you can see that once the survey is created, the experience that you would be having on Hub is exactly the same as you would receive on a Survey123 platform. So you can add in as many questions as you want, as many types of questions as you want, edit the appearance, and edit your entire experience on right on your Hub site. And let me just very quickly publish this. And once this gets published, I will be able to show you how you can control the collaboration aspect of this survey as well. That is, who can view this survey and who can edit the survey, who will be able to view the results of this survey. And the publishing takes about 5 to 10 seconds. And in Hub, there is one cool feature. Once it is published, this survey is now automatically being shared to my core team as well as my content team. So what this basically means is this survey is now automatically visible on my content library. I don't have to go through any, other process to kind of share it to my content library or to make it visible. It is now automatically shared there, and it's also shared to my core team automatically. So the people in my core team will be able to view this survey, edit this survey, and all of that. And now if I want to share it specifically to my followers team, I can do that. So this is a very neat way in which you can control the sharing aspects of your survey, and also who gets to view this survey. So results of the survey, I can control it right on my Hub platform. So this is a really cool way in which you can start creating surveys and start sharing surveys with specific groups and start collaborating with your community members. Now I turn it back over to Brenda to talk a little bit more about collaboration aspect on Hub. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hershey. Hershey just did a great job of explaining community identities that come with Hub Premium and how you can control access to those identities and manage them. Once our customers have those identities, it soon becomes clear that they want to do a lot more with them. And that's where this notion of going a little bit deeper with collaboration comes in. Within ArcGIS Hub, we have what's called an initiative framework. And these initiatives provide structure to the engagement with those community members and the flow of content, as well as just all the activities that go along with an initiative. So I want to drill in a little bit into a feature that we've worked on and released earlier this year, this idea of supporting teams. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why teams are so important and useful. So typically, without community identities, you might have some staff that are creating sites. Maybe we call them a core team, and that team might share that site with other departments, or they might make the site public and share it with anonymous community members. But with the introduction of community identities, as Hershey showed you, you can go a lot further. So those members of the community might follow an initiative. From there, they might become more engaged and actually become volunteers in your system. And maybe those volunteers reach out to the hard to reach community. We see that in many cases. The teams and collaboration, though, can also go very much more deeper. You can have those community members in deep collaborations with staff on supporting teams that support initiatives. You might also have teams that are simply external stakeholders who need to view and vet information. Or they might be community advisory boards, for example. And these are just some of the ideas about how teams can form and the role they can play in an initiative, but really it's open to you and what you need in terms of collaboration. So let's take a look at the new feature for creating supporting teams and how they work in ArcGIS Hub. Here you see a fictional initiative I've created called the Redlands Grove Management Initiative. It's a very simple initiative. It's about taking care of the groves and redlands, orange groves that we all value. I have some volunteers in this initiative. For example, I have a group of volunteers that goes into the groves and inspects them for insects that are harmful. In this fictional scenario, we also have a new group of volunteers. So I want to add them to this initiative and organize the content that I share with them. So In our drop-down menu for this initiative, you see some of the things we've already covered, but right now I'm going to focus on the teams aspect. And here are the teams for this initiative. As you can see, I have a core team, the Redlands Grove Management Core Team, which creates the content in the initiative and runs the initiative. And you can see I've created a supporting team for my volunteers who will inspect the groves. But I'm going to create a new team, and this supporting team will be of the volunteers from a local food charity who will come and pick the oranges, and then the oranges will go to people in need of food. So I'm going to browse for an image for my team, and here we have a image of a volunteer packaging up oranges. And I'm going to give this team a name, Food Charity Volunteers, and I'm going to create my team. So you can see I'm on the team automatically because I created it, but I want to add those volunteers. So when I go to add members, I can add more members from my organization if I wish. I can also add members from the community. These are members who have those community identities that have been handed out. So I'm going to add a few members. You see Hershey's in here, so I'm going to add Hershey. And now I can send them a notification. I can customize this notification further with instructions on what they are to do. I'm just going to go ahead and send this invitation. And now they don't have to accept any invitation with Hub. They're just automatically positioned on the team. So I have my team and the messages have been sent, and now I want to share some content with my team. So I can toggle to the content view, and maybe I want to share some documents with them about maybe the program or a volunteer handbook or instructions about the groves, whatever it is, I can add that content to this team. And now it's shared with these individuals. So when they sign into the website or do a search on the site, they will see the content that has been shared with them. So it's a way of controlling the flow of content and what these team members can do. So that's a very quick tour of supporting teams, but I hope it gives you some ideas about what you can do with these collaborators in your community and how you could start to organize and manage your workflows. Now that we're back from our tour of supporting teams, recall again that initiatives help you organize all aspects of your work, the people, the content, the feedback. And I want to drill in on another aspect of initiatives that we've done some work on this past year, and that's in the area of sites and pages and applications. So we've looked at sites quite a bit today. What we realize is that so many of our customers and users are trying to address the same problems or similar problems again and again. So for those common issues, we've created initiative templates, which are basically an encapsulation of sites and pages with layout and styling, plus applications that support those particular initiatives. And we try to create very modern looking websites that are ready to use and launch, that include the salient elements of initiatives that we've discovered. And we've put research into these and we've packaged them up as initiative templates. So over the past year, we've released some new templates. Currently, we have 18 initiative templates in Hub, and the new ones we've released are Citizen Problem Reporter, Equitable Property Value, Emergency Response, Promoting Transparent Elections, and Coronavirus Recovery. In addition, we've added guides to all of these initiative templates, and I'll show you that in just a minute. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we also released some templates to our basic users. So those are also available for anyone who has ArcGIS Online. So if you haven't looked at those and you feel you need them, they are there for you. So let's take a look at how these templates work. Okay, so we are back on our Hub overview screen. And if I were to create a new initiative, the way I find those templates is that I browse templates. And this will present to me a gallery of templates that Esri has provided. You can see this is where you'll find those 18 templates that we have currently. And if I want to see what this would look like if I activated it, simply by hovering over the link, I can click on a new preview. And I have a preview open right here for this emergency response template. And as you can see, it's a beautifully designed website. It has placeholders for content where you can add in your applications. So maybe you want some volunteers to help, and again, here's a placeholder for a volunteer survey or sign up. You can see there are placeholders for where more applications may link into this site, and so on. And also included with each template is a how to use this template page. And this is a private page that simply lays out how you can get started and make this template really your own thing. Many of these templates include links or jumping off places where you would plug in ArcGIS solutions. And so we provide links for where you can go find those solutions and activate them. So if I go ahead and activate that template, this is what it looks like after I've activated. You're placed on the site editing environment that Hershey went over earlier today. And you can go ahead and edit this and make it your own and add in your applications, all that good stuff. In some cases with these templates, extra content is included. And if I go to my content library, you can, first of all, you can see the how to use this template page. But if I go up here to create a new application or add a new application to my gallery and I click the template gallery, you will see that there is actually a survey for this particular initiative template that has been included with the template. So you could also go ahead and activate this and then include it in your site or in your content library for others to discover. So that's how you activate some of the templates included with the system. But one of the questions we get asked is, it's great that you have this gallery of templates, but how could I put my own template in here? I have a site that I've created and I want to use that same style again and again for different initiatives, or I want to create an initiative template and share it with others. So an enhancement we made this year and recently released is the new template builder. So here again is my site for Redlands Grove Management. And recall I did some very simple styling and inclusion of some applications. And now if I want to share this or reuse it again and again, I can create a template from it. So if I go up here to this overflow menu and I click Save as Template, what ArcGIS Hub is doing is it's scanning my site for content, converting the content to templates, and wrapping that into an initiative template. And by default, that template is private until I choose to share it. So if I open the template editor, you can see that I have a preview on the right as to what my template would look like in the gallery. I could go ahead and change this template. So maybe if I want others to use it, I would just maybe make the name a little generic. I can provide a preview link so that when others click that link, they'll get a sense of what that template provides. I can add a description, customize it. And here you can see included in this initiative template is my website. If I wanted to add other applications to this template to make them available, I could do that as well. So maybe I want to include a dashboard with this, or a web app builder, or an experience, some other apps. I can go ahead and do that as well. And now those applications will also be templated with my initiative. And anybody activating this initiative can choose to activate those and include them on their site as well. And I could go ahead and provide a thumbnail for that and a description and a link for this dashboard if I wanted to. So now if I go back to my templates, you'll see that there is my own template in the template gallery. You can see under initiative template, there's mine. And again, it's private unless I choose to make it public and share it with others. And I can do that if I go back into the template editor. Notice it's private. I could make this public or share it with my organization. And so back in the template view, if I go back to my hub overview or my initiatives and I click New, Browse Templates, you'll see that my new template shows up in the gallery for me. And you can see if I activate this template, I can give it a new name. I now have a newly created initiative from that template, and it persisted the style and the survey and all the things I'd included in my original site. Being able to craft beautiful websites and applications that address specific problems and then being able to template them and share those is one of the ways we believe ArcGIS Hub will help in spreading best practices among different communities. We have covered a lot of information today. I hope it's given you some ideas about how Hub can help you engage and collaborate with the broader community. I wanted to leave you with a few resources. There are some sessions to watch which touch on some of the topics. There's a session on ArcGIS enterprise sites called Designing Sites and Pages, which goes into more depth on site design and accessibility. Enterprise Sites is very closely related to ArcGIS Hub, and they share the same site builder tool. There's another session on implementing best practices, which looks at not only the technology, but also the business processes and some change management aspects that come with incorporating engagement into your practices. And there are some on-demand sessions, one from how we've learned to use ArcGIS Hub in communicating with the public during disaster situation, and another one on the pattern that we're seeing with regional governments, focusing on collaboration and leveraging ArcGIS Hub to really drive alignment in their regions. There are some other resources, of course, a myriad of them. We have GeoNet, we have a Hub newsletter that you can sign up for, YouTube playlists, a Twitter feed. There's an alias that you can ask questions to called ask-hub at esri.com, as well as the Hub website. And probably the easiest way to find some of these resources is to go to esri.com/hub and scroll down to the bottom of that page where you'll see a bunch of resources listed there. So I just want to leave you with one, I guess, action item generally, and that is to encourage you to reach out within your organizations, to reach out with the broader community and really investigate how you can lead in terms of engagement and collaboration and using all of Esri's capabilities, including ArcGIS Hub. So thank you for joining Hershey and me this afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We'll enter the Q&A portion of the presentation. So we'll have our moderator, Andrew, ask us some of the good questions that you've been sending us.
Great, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Hershey and Brenda. That was awesome to see such a comprehensive overview of ArcGIS Hub. So also thank you for all of you for attending the session and being interested in the product and capabilities and hearing about your questions. There's definitely a lot of them we're going to try and get through, as well as the polls. It really gives us a lot of interesting and useful insight into who's using Hub for what reason and why you're using it, and also your ideas. So now it's a great time to tell the product team very directly, either now or join our showcase later, and let us know what else you'd like to see. So I'm going to start taking some of the most upvoted and common questions that we saw here. And the first one, just to reiterate, is something I think we've talked about, but really helps to clarify. And that's the difference between Hub Basic, Hub Premium, and Enterprise sites. So Brenda, perhaps you can provide some clarity there.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think we tried to clarify a little bit on Hub Basic versus Premium. Hub Basic, if you have ArcGIS Online, you have Hub Basic. So it comes with ArcGIS Online, and Hub Basic allows you to create sites like Hershey showed you and share data. You can share that data publicly or privately, keep it private. Premium it really ups the engagement more. It provides you with those community identities and as well that initiative framework for managing how you interact with the community. So if you want to have community engagement and those community members need to have identity in your system, that's when you definitely would like to leverage Premium and some of the premium features there. And as far as enterprise sites, ArcGIS Enterprise has enterprise sites that are almost identical to the site's functionality in ArcGIS Hub. So if you are working with enterprise and you want to stand up a site within ArcGIS Enterprise, you can do that. They're very much the same functionality as Hub sites. So hopefully that clarified it.
And I'm going to stay with you for just one more question that's come up in a couple of different ways, but similar to how you said that Hub Basic is very similar to enterprise sites, just in different environments. So whether you're offline or in your protected computing environment, some people are wondering about the difference between Hub sites and enterprise sites compared with, say, story maps or Experience Builder or the new ArcGIS Online homepage editor. Can you just provide some insight there?
On all of those. Okay. So as far as hub sites are a great way to pull together a lot of different types of content. So for example, we often see story maps used in conjunction with hub sites because story maps are great with telling a narrative story that goes along very well with initiatives and trying to explain different issues. You can embed story maps in hub sites. You can have a story map be a separate page that launches from your hub navigation. And the same is true with Experience Builder applications as well. You could build a very nice experience in Experience Builder, embed that in a hub site, or have it launch as a separate page. One of the things that's key about Hub is that it is a website or allows you to create websites. And so a key part of that is the domain or the URL that you can control. So you can have a custom URL that is unique to you. And then from that URL or domain, that can be your one landing place from which people discover all that other content, your story maps, your experiences, insights, dashboards, you name it, Hub will help integrates with all of that content.
Great, thanks. Definitely a complicated question, but hopefully it helps clarify some. Hershey, one question came up that was, I think, really interesting because it comes to this idea of collaboration is, says, since you can secure a hub that has private data, private pages, or other private content, can it be created for a specific group of external shareholders? And do these users have to have a specific ArcGIS Online user type?
Yes, that's a great question. And I think I did cover a little bit of that in the presentation as well. So when you are trying to collaborate with your external stakeholders, it's always possible to keep all of this information and data as private as you would want. It is possible to create groups. It is possible to create share specific data to those groups and keep it really secure. So yes, it is definitely possible. And when you talk about and when they ask about the user role, so like I mentioned, with community identities, your external stakeholders will be able to interact and collaborate with you, and they get a publisher role as soon as they get this community identities, which could very easily be changed, or you can the community administrator can go in and alter these roles, but essentially they would have a publisher role.
Great, thank you. What is the, Brenda, I'll share this one over to you. What's the cost of Premium Hub?
That's a good question. The answer is it depends. We have several different types of licensing options. So the real answer is to get in touch with your account managers. They can help you with that. But there are different options. You can start, as far as premium, it depends on what size of a community you want. You can start small and license the number of community members as you go. If you are a large city, county, state, government entity, you might want an unlimited number of community members. That's also another licensing option. We also have special pricing for nonprofits, and universities have Hub Premium included in their site licenses. They just need to request it. So there are a number of different flavors, and we'll help you find the one that's right for you.
Great, thanks. Relatedly, Hershey, do community members need to have their own ArcGIS Online username to sign in or to be invited?
No, it's not necessary that they have their own ArcGIS Online username or login. So they can very easily create their community accounts using their social media logins or Google. So it's just as simple as they come in and to the sign up page, the request to follow, and you can actually customize the entire sign in page. And I think I did show a little bit of that in the demonstration as well. So it's actually very easily customizable. And no, they do not need to have their own ArcGIS login.
Great. Another one came in is, and it was asked in a few different ways, was about integrations simply, but I'll share some more. So the question was around, can we, in a hub site, can you integrate things like insights? Can you embed Survey 123? Can you embed custom application maybe one of your developers built. So what can be integrated into an ArcGIS Hub site?
Yes, to all of them. You can embed it. You can definitely embed your third-party apps or any other content that you might have developed and insights as well. All you need to use is, we have multiple options to do that, but you have iframe cards. So you have different options that are available on Hub, which allows you to definitely embed, be it your dashboards, insights, story maps, survey 123, all of that. It can very easily be embedded.
Great. And here's one related, give it to maybe Brenda, you've updated this recently. How would people who are curious about other examples, where would they go find some other Hub examples for different embeds, different organizations, so on?
Well, that's a great question. Yes, I have been working on it. If you go to hub.arcgis.com, the landing page for signing into the product, you'll see at the top, there are some tabs of galleries. One is literally called Gallery, and you can click that gallery tab, and that's where we're featuring some of the nice sites and initiatives that we've discovered our customers are making. And they're just, the inventory is growing, and there's so many beautiful examples. And then I've tried to categorize those down the page by different types of industries and different types of purposes or use cases that our customers are doing. So there's a whole ton of good work out there that you can go look at. There's also a COVID-19 gallery, and there's also a new gallery out there of the templates that we were showing. So I think we've got about 18 templates now. So go check out hub.arcgis.com and click across the top and explore till your heart's content.
So I'm using that to segue into what was definitely the most popular question, and definitely one we hear and hearing a lot more from many organizations and governments is there a reason why an organization or agency should not consider ArcGIS Hub as their primary web or content management system? As we continue to develop our Hub resources, these questions are becoming more and more common. So
yeah, we're getting that question. And I think the answer is it depends. I personally don't view Hub or position Hub as a replacement to your content management system. Typically, there's already a website or a content management system in place, and Hub tends to live alongside of that. For example, here at Esri, when COVID-19 really hit, we created a Hub site, and we also have a content management system, and we link the two. So one of the ways to approach that is that your Hub site takes on the styling and the theme of your main assets, and then you link the two. And that's what we've done as Esri. Often people use Hub because it's so easy and so fast to stand up a site quickly in response to something. So tying those two together is nice. And one example of that is on that gallery I mentioned. White House Utility District did a really nice job of that, where they, if you click down and see their example, that's a Hub page where on their main site, they have a nice banner, and then that links off to their Hub environment as well. There's certainly a lot of overlap, and I think it depends on the size of your organization. We see smaller organizations tend to lean on Hub more for their primary web pages, but larger organizations with a large web presence are doing more of the dovetailing approach with Hub for special circumstances. So I don't know, that's a long answer. We can talk offline about that for a very long time, about how to dovetail those two environments.
Right. Again, this is something that you can always email us, ask-hub at esri.com, and also show up in our showcase and ask us. We can have a deep dive discussion about it and talk about other integration points there. So
yeah, we have tips and tricks for how to do that. So
great. Looking down, some of the other questions are. A lot of questions here around really how to be effective at engagement here, right? So this is probably, it goes a little bit beyond the technology, but different advice. And Hershey, I'll ask this of you, is what are some best practices you're seeing where people are using Hub to be really effective at engaging and growing the engagement of their initiatives with their community?
Yeah, so we're seeing multiple ways in which our customers are kind of leveraging Hub to engage with their communities. It could be just to kind of get their feedback on issues. It could be to get them involved in the community, like volunteerism, or it could go to kind of inform them about the projects that's going on in their area and their locality and get their ideas and views about it. Or most recently, we saw with COVID-19, the way they can really leverage Hub is to keep everyone connected, is to engage with them, and to keep them informed about exactly what's going on. And it's not just that. The other side of that is get their views in, get their feedback in, and kind of listen to what they are, what they want, and what they want, and what they're listening to. So it's kind of this one platform where you can bring everyone together, collaborate, communicate, and just make the best out of the situation, I guess, as what we saw in COVID. Like, it's amazing the amount of collaboration that we saw.
I'll just jump in there and just say, I think one of the keys that we see with COVID is that people are always looking for new information. So I think also keeping the information changing, like if you keep your page fresh or your site fresh with the latest information, or like Hershey said, you do a poll or you do some results, flip that information back out to the community and let them see what those results were. So those are just a couple additional tips.
That's great. I think this is another interesting one as well. And I'll go back to Hershey. People are just starting out their hubs for the first time. They're asking, what would we consider a minimum amount of content to have before setting up a hub site?
Okay, so the first thing I would definitely like to tell is have sort of a meeting with all of your stakeholders. Just kind of get the plan down, because it is very easy to get lost in Hub and all of this content and data. So it's really, really important to kind of sit down and talk about what exactly do you want to do with your Hub, and how do you want to engage, and what sort of information that you're trying to put across there. I think that's the first most critical step. And once you have that, you can basically start with any amount of information. Andrew, it's not just about the amount of information. It's mostly about how you can display that information and how well you can use that information to communicate with the community. So just start with Hub.
Yeah, right. Just start with Hub. I just want to say, like, some of the nice, I think some of the more engaging pages we have or sites we see are actually sites that do keep it fairly simple and clean, but the messaging very clear. So having a simple site is not a bad thing, and having it be targeted is actually a very good thing. So don't feel like you have to have a tome on your site or a very long scrolling site to be successful at what you're doing.
Right. That's great. Looking at some other ones. And I've also, by the way, if you make sure and please check the chat, I have tried to reply to a lot of very particular specific questions by many of you, so we're not going to get through all of them in the next 3 minutes. They're all great. So please do check the replies before the channel closes. The other question is around, I think it's good to talk, maybe talked a little bit about it, but reiterating about the idea of this granular permission sharing with the teams, providing different people. There's questions around, can I provide different look and feel for others based on content updates? And similarly, can you describe a little bit of how the teams work? So I think you did some, but maybe it's worth kind of reiterating some of what are the teams that are included? How might you use those to support better collaboration?
Do you want me to take that one, or who are you talking?
Yeah, sure, Brenda, take it. Yeah.
I wasn't sure who I was talking to. Yeah, so by default, if you have, well, Hub Basic, I'll just start there. So for every site in Hub Basic, you have a core team that works on the site. If you have Hub Premium, it's a similar thing. For every initiative, you have a core team, which is the team in your organization that will be generating most of the content for that initiative, like the site and everything. And that team is an editing group or team. Then we showed that the ability to make supporting teams in Premium so that you could involve the other community members in those teams and share content to those teams. We also have seen that sometimes you want to involve others, like we think about the core team as being staff, but you can also think about the core team as being outside members. Like maybe there's a third party you're collaborating with. You can add that person to your core team and they can edit your sites or pages, or maybe you just give them one page that they are responsible for updating. So that's sort of how the teams of people work. We also showed that in terms of organizing content, every site and initiative comes with a content group, which serves the search function on your site and serves up the content through the content group. And we also showed that you can have other types of groups, content-oriented groups that you can also pull into your search catalog as well. So I don't know if that answered. Try to answer some of that.
That's really good. One question came up was about how do I take maybe hub sites how might I integrate take my hub sites into enterprise and back and forth? Hershey, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So essentially, enterprise sites is what you have on your private network. It's not but your hub sites is what you have on your ArcGIS Online environment. So essentially, that's the main difference that you see with your enterprise sites and your hub sites. Yeah.
Yeah, and also
I was just going to.
Python scripts as well if you need to convert between those two. So there's Python's come up in a couple different questions. I help work in the technology, so I particularly like it. So you can use